All right, we should be live, and then let's see. It's been so long since I've done this. I gotta get the chat going, and hopefully they'll be able to hear the music that I play.
Tuna fish sandwich. Butterfield would be into the blues.
So the bass player and drummer are the same guys that played with Howlin' Wolf, and that's Paul Butterfield.
There's Paul.
Recording sounds pretty good, huh?
That's me and Paul.
Really? So you know this documentary really well. You've seen this a million times. All right. That must be part of like a longer something or other. Let's see here. We'll go to this. So what's happening, everybody? So, hey, Bertie and Ann, let me know. Could you hear the audio from that video that we just watched? I have a little bit different setup. And to everybody else, welcome. The live stream is back for this week. I got special guest Bill Giardini here, my friend, sometimes accordion student, working accordion player in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he lives around the corner from where I'm staying. So I said, hey, Bill, Bill has a life in music. You've been playing music since you were a kid.
Pretty much.
Lived your whole life in Chicago.
Yep.
And your career, as far as I know it, has been in the record industry. A lot based around blues records, right?
Well, not just blues.
Not just blues.
The last part of my career, I worked for Alligator Records, which was a blues label. But prior to that, I was at Virgin Records, and we did have a subsidiary label, Point Blank, that was blues. John Lee Hooker and Charlie Musselwhite and Van Morrison also on the label. And then prior to that, Warner Brothers Records.
So. Oh, right on. In New Orleans, I met Layla Musselwhite.
Oh, wow.
And she wanted to do a project with me, but I had just moved out of New Orleans. Yeah,
cool.
She's a wonderful musician too.
Yeah. Charlie's not, well, he was up in Northern California after Chicago. He moved Northern California, but now he's back in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Whoa.
So.
Dang.
Which is like the home of the blues.
Is it?
Yeah, Clarksdale.
All right. Who came out of there?
Just about everybody. I mean, it's like, Muddy. I mean, that's like the place, Mississippi.
Okay, yeah. And it all kind of, the blues got to Chicago kind of up through the river, right?
Right.
The Mississippi
River.
It
was the great black migration from the south to the north for better paying jobs, and so it was to Chicago, St. Louis, Detroit, Kansas City, but Chicago was kind of the mecca because it was the biggest city and also had the most jobs, particularly on the south side. So you could work in a steel mill, you could work in the slaughterhouse. Matter of fact, the song "Killing Floor" is about the slaughterhouse.
Let's pull that up. Who did Killing Floor?
Well, you can find Albert King's version of Killing Floor, which is one of my favorite, but a lot of people did it. Maybe there's a live version.
So on today, thank you guys for letting me know. And what's up, Bill in Missouri? On today's show, we're focusing on as long as we got Bill here for probably about a half hour or so, unless he feels like sticking around longer. I don't know. But we're going to talk about Chicago and blues. And as I was kind of putting things together, I started thinking about all this, other amazing music from Chicago. Of course, we got jazz and Louis Armstrong. I mean, it's like limitless. This is, one of the great
Calloway.
Cab Calloway, the association.
Benny Goodman. I mean, just a lot of folks.
A lot of folks, yeah. I was just listening to them talk about Al Capone, and I just went to the Green Mill last night and saw some great jazz. And Bill and another guy here were talking about how Al Capone owned that club. It's very cool.
There's a series of caverns underneath the club that allowed a
Really?
quick escape route for the mobsters
Really?
in case it got raided by the police. But
No
yeah, it's
kidding.
been a continuous club since the 20s.
Wow.
And I mean, a lot of great people playing there every night.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good live version. I don't know if this is live or if it's just got. I don't think it is live. No, this is not live. I'm trying to avoid getting the video.
Well, you could Howlin' Wolf.
Howlin'
I mean,
Wolf?
Howlin' Wolf. It's Howlin' Wolf's tune.
Concert 1970.
Oh, I'm on the killing floor. I done fool around here and love you so you done put me on this damn killing floor. And I can't help myself no damn more. Kick on, Jim Richard. See, a lot of folks come up here and sing, but they don't listen to what they sing. What you put on it? Damn, they got to put on my head.
Sounds like a keyboard bass. Sounds like a Rhodes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
the
didn't
Rhodes.
see. I can't leave town. The police told me
We got
so.
the
You
great
sit down.
computer speakers.
You know, the police told me, said, don't you leave town.
Here, look at the big one.
They got me for alimony. I didn't take care of this woman. I got a child by this woman. And they got me for alimony.
He was really a big.
And I wasn't trying to leave
Yeah.
town. You know what the judge does? He cut me and put his damn foot on my
Doesn't say.
Sonny's
First thing I told the judge, I said, should have quit you a long time ago. I should have quit you, babe, a long time ago. I should have quit
And so
you.
this song is written about the
slaughterhouse.
The slaughterhouses.
That's the killing floor.
the killing floor. Yeah,
He should have quit.
kind of fade that out.
Ran off with his gal to Mexico.
Okay. And so we were talking, and you told me this. I think I've asked you about the blues on numerous occasions, because the blues is, it's the very fabric of American music. Especially the 20th century.
Right.
And
I mean,
before
it
that.
is jazz and blues. Are
Jazz and blues, yeah.
The American culture.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's in everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And Pinetop Perkins, the blues piano player. I mean, every interview with him, he says the blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll.
He's the one that said that.
Yeah, he's the one who said
Okay. Now, is he from Chicago?
well, he's been. Yeah, I mean, he was here, but he's from the South,
Yeah.
just like everyone.
Just like
Including
everyone.
that-
Right.
That migrated up here.
Yeah. So the Chicago blues was, done by musicians on the South Side, and then, like you were telling me, a kind of a little like colloquial folk history of it, I guess, because neither of us are historians. I'm just a guy asking
Right.
questions, and you're just a guy who lives in Chicago and loves the blues. But that the thing that brought it to the mainstream is when you had the British bands, the British rock and roll, what became rock and roll bands, start to
Right.
cover those.
Right. I mean, they knew more about our, like I was telling you before. I mean, these guys all lived like 8, 9, 10 miles from me, and I didn't really know that much about the music. You know, I was listening to the Rolling Stones doing Little Red Rooster instead of Howlin' Wolf, who wrote it and did the original version, and really that's how it kind of developed and got a lot of us white kids on the north side into the blues, and including, you know, some of the guys we just saw like in Paul Butterfield's band.
Yeah.
Although they were already kind of into it, you know. I mean, Mike Bloomfield in particular was really well versed, and he was sitting in with all the black artists on the south side and west side, and is on a lot of early recordings like with Sleepy John Estes and John Hurt and Fred McDowell, which were kind of like the country Delta blues style artists.
Okay. So this is such a, I feel like this is an unfair question, but like, what is Chicago blues then, as opposed to, if I'm thinking of Leadbelly, or if I'm thinking of, you know, any of these other kind of Chicago artists, the music definitely sounds different. Is it the 12-bar blues? Is it like more chord progressions?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least for me, the Chicago blues is urban blues. It's the electric, loud.
Okay.
It's like Muddy Waters. It's like Howlin' Wolf.
Yeah.
It's like Bo Diddley. I mean, it's those guys that really. They originally started early recordings. There's a Lomax did field recordings of Muddy Waters when he was in the South, and it's a Delta blues style. Him singing, you know, playing acoustic guitar and singing more of a Delta style blues. But when he got to Chicago, you know, they got electric guitars and
It got
cheap
75.
amps, and they turned them up to 10, and it was just loud, raucous bar music where people would go out and drink and have fun and dance. And
because you also have Memphis. Is Beale Street? Beale Street was in
Yeah,
Memphis.
yeah.
You have the whole Memphis thing,
Right.
which like B.B. King talks about
Right.
being on, you know, bar,
Right.
blues,
But his
blues,
style's a little different. I mean, although he spent a lot of time in Chicago too. I mean, his famous album Live at the Regal is recorded on the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
Which is a famous B.B. King blues album.
Yeah.
Where he does Sweet Little Angel and some other great tunes.
See?
But that all, it's really all kind of connected.
Okay. Well, let's see.
And I think the other reason that Chicago is kind of thought of is the blues capital is because of Chess Records, and so much of it was recorded here.
Yeah.
Chess Record and VJ Records.
I'm just going to try to put some visuals here. So Chess Records was, you were telling me they owned, what do they own, a bar?
Yeah, originally they Russian Jewish immigrants that came to Chicago. They owned a bar on the south side, and I think there was a liquor store somewhere in there too. And at night they just would notice, you know, these bands would be playing in their bar, and all these people were having a great time, and Phil Leonard said, hey, you know, somebody ought to put this on record. They really didn't know anything about music, but I think they had an inherent connection to that culture.
Yeah.
And I mean, because they were struggling, just like, you know, the people in the bar,
yeah.
The musicians were struggling, and that's how kind of Chess Records started. And they started recording a lot of the black artists that were playing in their bar.
That's wild. Well, let's watch this 4-minute video together, and maybe you can fill in the blanks here some more.
Oh, smokestack lightning shining.
Oh, wait a minute. This is going to be a stupid. There's no talking. It's all. It's all. Sorry, that's not a good one. All right.
Checker was also one of their labels.
Oh.
Subsidiary label of and Cadet and Argo.
Let's see. Here, let's like watch a minute of this BBC thing.
Chess was one of the most innovative record labels of all time. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Chess was at the cutting edge of black music, releasing blues, rock and roll, and soul masterpieces.
When you look at Chess Records, boy, is that some textbook.
We are the bomb with Chess Records.
Roll over Beethoven, I gotta hear it again today.
Chess artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters, and Bo Diddley changed the landscape of popular music on both sides of the Atlantic.
Amazing harmonica solos, amazing guitars, tones. What came out was just something that was amazing lyrics, amazing vocalists.
What a
All right,
mass.
they're gonna do all the sizzle teasing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a
Okay.
lot of the British guys there, if you noticed. Jimmy
Yeah.
Page from Led Zeppelin, John Paul Jones from Manfred Mann. A lot of the British, because it was the Brits that kind of brought it back to the United States.
Why is that? Do you know? Like it wasn't getting played on American radio because all the, you know.
Well, I mean, it was getting played on American radio, but pretty much on black radio, not.
Okay.
I mean, here
Because
we had,
were there still race records and all that kind of stuff at that
I
time?
mean, here we had WVON, which stood for Voice of the Negro, and it was owned. I think Chess Records had some part ownership of the radio station, but yeah, they played all that stuff. But a lot of the white kids weren't listening to it until, you know, we were brought to it through
the
listening
Stones
to
and the Beatles
and
and
listening to, you know, the British bands, and then even like Paul Butterfield, the white blues bands based in the U.S.
yeah.
So
And Elvis is before that by a little bit, right?
right, but he is part of that too, through Memphis, and you know, with Sam Phillips and the Sun record label. And I mean, it was more of a rockabilly country, but it's still I mean, he was really big into black spirituals.
Elvis was. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, and I just read something who he used to sing with, and I can't remember who the artist is. It's a black artist that they would just, after a gig, they would just get together in the hotel room and sing black spirituals.
Elvis would just
Elvis, yeah.
church music
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. Well, let's see what's some more blues we could check out and listen to here. You sent me some accordion stuff, and I found some accordion stuff. Let's see, what was I gonna play here? I gotta go over here to the email. Well, yeah, just some more. Yeah. Well, let's stick with Chicago blues artists then.
Well, you can put like Little Walter. You know, I mean, a harmonica is and accordion are related. They're both free reed instruments.
They sure are.
Little
Yeah.
Walter, My Babe, and Juke were his big hits.
Okay.
My baby don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh no, she don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh no, she don't stand no cheating. She don't stand that midnight creeping, my baby. Truly, baby, my baby. My babe, I know she love me, my babe. Oh yes, I know she love me, my babe. Oh yes, I know she love me. She don't do nothing but kiss and hug me, my babe. Truly, baby, my babe.
Little Walter Harmonika, Hound Dog Taylor Gitarre, Dillard Groom Bassgitarre, Odie Payne Schlagzeug. Das ist Blues aus Chicago. Volksmusikinteressierte und Jazzfans zwischen Helsinki und Barcelona werden diese Klänge in den nächsten Wochen im Konzertsaal erleben. Das American Folk Blues Festival, das in den letzten Jahren die großen Interpreten der schwarzen Musik Amerikas nach Europa gebracht hat, ist wieder auf Europatournee. Heute sind die 10 Interpreten des American Folk Blues Festivals 1967 zu Gast in unserem Studio.
So it was huge overseas.
My baby
Oh, yeah,
don't
yeah.
stand no fooling, my baby.
Because, you know, they
Oh,
included a
Lord,
lot
you
of
don't
folk
stand no
festivals
fooling,
that they
my
had overseas.
baby.
They included
Oh,
blues,
Lord,
yeah.
you don't stand no fooling.
and here a lot of the University of Chicago, I mean, they still do it, has a folk festival which includes blues. I mean,
Oh,
so they
yeah.
would bring guys like, you know, Big Bill Bruzy to play there, and Red Belly and Odetta,
Oh,
and
wow,
all those
okay.
people would play at the University of Chicago.
Oh, at their
Yes.
folk festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the folk festival still goes on.
Oh, wow. And they still book blues.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a little different, but, you know, little rockier now than
Yeah.
it used to be.
A little rockier, yeah.
You know, I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Buddy Guy, who's kind of the last of the. He's not like the Muddy Waters like right after the Muddy Waters generation. You know, the late '50s into the '60s. That's when Buddy started to, and of course into the late '60s, started to really make a name for himself. Him with Junior Wells. It was Buddy Guy and Junior Wells.
Yeah.
And of course, Buddy is like 89 now, and I think he just did he's just finished his final tour. But
Oh, wow.
I saw Buddy numerous times.
And it was after this. You would have found them kind of after you.
Yeah, I mean, this would
yeah.
still. I mean, this would have been, you know, the mid to the late '60s when blues was just blowing up on all the college campuses.
Mid to late '60s.
Right.
All right.
It was really starting to make inroads with white college kids.
Yeah. Yeah, like jazz had done before it with
Yeah,
Dave
yeah.
Brubeck and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. All right, let's see. What would be a good one? There's a lot of stuff from the 70s here. Let's see if you see something you like.
Well, I think there was some with Junior Wells.
Yeah, this one right here?
That was like a, yeah, I mean, that's.
What year? 71.
What you doing, baby? No, it ain't right. Wonder what you doing. Better take some night. Little by little, I'm losing you. I can see. Bit by bit, baby, your love gets so with me.
That's good.
You told me that you love me, but you told me a lie. I love you, baby, till the day I die. Little by little, I'm losing you. I can see.
Looks like he's got platform shoes too.
Bit by bit, baby, your love gets so with me. All right, all right.
They went down the previous one. Now they went up.
Before electric guitars had transmitters and you had to be tethered to a cord, Buddy Guy would have a cord.
What you doing, baby?
Oh, really?
It would be on a reel, and he would go like out into the audience, and he had a guy that would like reel it back and reel it out, and he'd go out into the street and play. It was like amazing.
That's what's up. Oh, man.
Your love gets so away from me.
This is good, man.
lot of jazz too. Bob Kester, who died, and had the jazz record
This is a little accordion gear thing. I just picked up one of these back ordered from Sweetwater, and they just sent it to me. Let's see, this thing.
Oh,
it's brand new.
It's a transmitter.
Yeah, brand new technology just came out, and it's hard to get. But they just shipped mine. It should be at in Pennsylvania tomorrow.
Cool.
But it's it's like $350, but it's supposed to be a frequency that's not going to interfere unless you're playing the Kennedy Center or something, like somewhere that has all this shit. But I'm looking forward to that because I don't know about you, but I'm always stepping on my cable. I feel like a dunce, but and I'm always stepping on it, and then it yanks out and it pops and all that kind of stuff.
Right, it makes a loud noise and then when you gotta turn if you forget to turn the amp off before you plug it back in.
It's totally, yeah. So I'm really excited about this thing. I think it's going to be really cool. And the other cool thing, I was telling Frank Petrilli, because he wasn't sold on it. I was like, check this out, Frank. But look, you can hear what you sound like. You could walk out into the house or wherever you're gigging,
right.
And you can turn around and face your amp and hear the rest of the band and hear how you sound in the audience. And he's like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Or you could get a 100-foot cord.
Or you could
guy
and you can hire a guy. That's right. Oh man, yeah. Okay. Well, that's killer, man. Hoodoo Man. All right. Let's see. What else should we check out here? Yeah. Okay. So I had some stuff on my playlist, but while we got you here for another few minutes, unless you want to stay longer, but I think you got things to do. I don't want to, keep you. Let's see. That's Buddy. What else?
Oh man, there's just so much.
There's just so much. Well, here, let me ask you about. Do you remember those darn accordions?
Pardon?
Those darn accordions. Do you know this band?
Yeah.
I found this cool little 1997 documentary. This is not really blues at all, but it's definitely rock, which is like, related. I thought this is kind of fun in Chicago. Let's see, I gotta find my browser here. Let me start.
Gerald's in
There we go. Okay, back this up.
Witness the rock band TDA, preferably at Fitzgerald's in Berwyn.
You know Fitzgerald's in Berwyn.
Oh yeah, Fitzgerald's. I mean, it was just declared a landmark.
Really?
It's great. I mean, they have a lot of great bands that play through. They go through Fitzgerald's.
It was a bastion of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not. It's just not. I mean, blues. It's really Americana. They do a big thing every 4th of July. Marcia Ball plays there. A lot of the Alligator artists play there. I mean, it's a great venue.
There's just tons of culture and music history in Chicago, man. Well, let's hear a little bit of those down accordions because they sound good, man. They sound good.
Don't be afraid to strap on across your shoulder. The Exodus is near. TDA is here. We got to play before we get much older.
Those darn accordions, you can't scrub them out, you can't wash them out. Whose idea was it, this accordion rock thing? Big Lou?
Yes, it was.
How did you get Big Lou, by the way? The big hair? Big, strong woman. Griselda, she-woman of the North.
I guess Lou put the article in the paper and inviting an accordionist. So I threw my accordion in the car and I went down there and, well, they adopted me and I've been with them ever since.
Yeah, I think Big Lou moved to New York City, and she was part of the Walter. What was the name for the accordion shop in the like Greenwich, Lower East Side, Main Squeeze. I think she was part of.
Yeah. I actually, when I was in New York, I went there.
You did?
Yeah.
And then when Walter passed of cancer, just the
It's not there
It's
anymore.
not there anymore. No, but he had an accordion orchestra, kind of oddly an all women accordion orchestra except for Walter, but whatever, I guess. But Big Lou was part of that, as I recall.
Wow,
yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah.
I know that.
Let's see. What's the other one I wanted to show you? Phyllis's, right?
Yeah, Phyllis's musical inn.
Yeah. This is, let's see, Phyllis's musical inn.
Shelley Hutchinson with
this is another place that I asked Bill if he knew, and he said, yeah, that's a famous place too. Let's see. This is like a half-hour long recorded thing to her, but
it's in Ukrainian Village, which is a big Ukrainian enclave here in Chicago.
Okay.
Charlotte is here. Let's give her a hand.
See if I can find, let's see, she was talking about, where is that? Right here.
Large mall got built by Route 132. It was more of a farming community. People would go on golf outings and then come to Hidden Point Tap. There was a pig roast every year in August with camping and music, live bands playing. People liked getting out of the city. Clem Jr. brought in new kinds of music, reviving the live music scene at Phyllis's Musical Inn. As a big kickoff on September 8, 1984, Buddy Guy and Junior Wells played at Phyllis's Musical Inn. Smilin' Bobby opened for them. Smilin' Bobby still has a regular gig at Phyllis's Musical Inn, playing first Thursdays of the month. Buddy Guy has...
So 84, that would be quite a bit past the kind of heyday of Chicago blues, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of part of the tourist attraction of coming to Chicago. But I mean, Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, that would have been toward the Junior died probably I don't know, maybe somewhere in the early 2000s.
Oh, whoa, okay.
So he's been gone a while.
What a wild musician, man!
Yeah.
Incredible,
yeah,
incredible.
He was.
Let's see, did I hit play on this one? This is 3 minutes. Let's see if you agree or disagree with anything in here. Bill Giardini reacts.
The unlikely birthplace of rock.
Jimmy Page,
Robert Plant,
Mumford & Sons,
Keith Richards, Mick Jagger,
James Hetfield from Metallica.
And the group Hosier. Hell, without Chicago blues, man, there wouldn't be any Rolling Stones. There wouldn't be a Led Zeppelin.
Chicago blues its roots are definitely in the South.
During the mass exodus from the South, many people jumped on the train, and the train line ended here in Chicago, and they brought their music with them.
Blues was nurtured here in large part because you could make records here, and if you were known as a Chicago blues artist, you were making musical history. What was then country blues.
Acoustic guitars, harmonicas, and violins, it became electrified in the clubs. Rock and roll began.
And I grew up listening to rock and roll, and I started looking at these records by artists like the Stones and Led Zeppelin and the Allman Brothers, and I saw they were covering people who lived in the same city I did.
Right.
So that's basically your story
Same
too.
thing,
Probably lots of people your generation, right?
And Dave Spector is right down the street here in Evanston. He's part owner of Space, which is a club in Evanston. A lot of acts go through there, and Dave Spector's from there.
Oh yeah.
He's really a well-known guitar player. Plays Chicago Blues Fest every year and lots of venues. But yeah, same situation.
Same situation.
Right.
Chicago blues, because it's urban, it's a little bit edgier and more hardcore.
What differentiates Chicago blues is the history. Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Buddy Guy.
If you're interested in any art, you have to put the time in to find out what it's all about.
On Friday night, the rumor was the Stones were going to come by.
You know, they came to see Lefty. He played left-handed but the guitar was strung for a right hand. So he would have to string his chords this way, finger mirror images of what you would be doing this way.
Oh, wow.
Just turned it upside down, didn't restring it.
And he was just truly one of the legends. Mick Jagger walked in with his white hat. That looks like Jerry Hall. Yep. Satisfaction was the first song, and then the place kind of went crazy.
He must have been up there for 2.5 hours, and they'd stop, grab a drink, they went back up and played for another 2 hours.
So when you see these rock stars come here and they've taken Chicago blues to another level, I just wish that Chicago blues artists could reach the level of fortune and fame as the rock stars, because they deserve it.
Country, hip-hop, funk, if you take the blues out, all of a sudden, none of these musics exist.
Sponsored by Jim Beam.
Perfect sponsor.
Perfect sponsor, man.
Great.
Man. Well, this is cool. I mean, I've kept you for half an hour, Bill. I don't know if you could stick around, or is this like the Tonight Show, man?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of, well, I'll let you get on with the rest of the
I appreciate it.
Stream, and good seeing you. I'll see you later tonight. We're going to go hear some Irish accordion.
We're going to hear Jimmy Keane and another heavy Irish player.
So that'll be, I'm looking forward to it.
And from what I talked to the people like Mariko and other people that know Irish music, they say Jimmy Keane's like one of the top cats, and he kind of has his own style. And
right. Well, he plays with the Chieftains, and I mean, he's like really known all over the world.
Yeah.
So I'm really anxious to see this.
It should be cool. It's a session, so this will be fun to talk about on the stream. So I asked Mariko, like, I don't know any of these tunes at all. I don't know a single Irish tune. Maybe the Washerwoman, maybe. And do you know any?
No, I don't.
And you don't want to.
Right.
You don't want to like bumble into a thing like that. You're disrupting everybody's good time.
Accordion?
I don't think so, because what Mariko told me, she said the tune gets played. She said, typical Irish session, you don't noodle. Like if you don't know the tune, you just don't play it. Unless you can pick, and you don't play, you just listen. And then she said on the third time around, if you've figured it out by then you can join in and play it. This was her advice, So I said, well, I don't do that. So I think we're just going to sit at the bar and watch and listen, I think. And that'll be cool.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
That's definitely fine with me. Have a couple of cocktails, and it should be good.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I'll see you later on. Thank you so much. It was a blast.
Bill. Oh, yeah, you brought these great books too. But next time.
I mean, if anybody's interested, there's plenty of.
These are some.
That's really well known. If you want to find out more about Chicago blues, that's about Chess Records, and basically how they absorbed the culture, the black culture on the South Side, and made a multi-million-dollar business out of it. And then the story of Alligator Records, and my former boss, Bruce Iglar.
Wow.
And Alligator is still going. They have a catalog of about 300 titles.
Jeez.
So most of them, and it's pretty much all blues. So
wow.
Pretty cool.
And you consider Zydeco as
actually,
a blues?
there are some Zydeco artists.
Because can you stay for one more second? Because I want to watch Rockin' Doopsie. Do you know Rockin' Doopsie?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw him live at Northwestern when they did a thing. They called it a harmonica convergence, but they also had accordion players.
That's what's up. When was that?
Julian Lebreau was like the moderator and host of it. It was really it was very cool.
Oh wow!
They had the harmonicas. It was wild.
Never heard of them. So Rockin' Doopsie is the father of the other Doopsies that are and this sounds like early rock and roll to me. Versus like what I think of as
a Louisiana two-step goes something like this.
Sort of,
Oh, Shaka
Lucy ever, you know, she was ever on Alligator? No. But we figured out Clifton was on Chess for maybe one record.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. And CJ,
But then he was on our Hootie after that.
His son CJ though
Yeah.
was on Alligator.
Okay. And he's still around gigging all the time.
Yeah, actually, he was
touring.
supposed to play the Chicago Blues Festival this year. I went down, but he, for some reason, wasn't there. He was a no-show. I don't know why, if he wasn't feeling well or what the deal was, but it was still a great show anyway.
That's killer, man. Well, okay.
All right, see you later.
Thank you. Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.
Have a
as
great
well.
rest of your day, man.
Hey, you too.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
Okay. Here, I'm going to hit play and make sure I lock the door behind Bill. I'll be right back, everybody. 1 second here.
Oh, my dad. Hey, my daddy. See my music, y'all. See my favorite. Time my baby born.
He was almost done, but I decided to cut it out. All right, this is the normal accordion stream. We're back. My accordion live stream. My name is Dallas, and this is sort of my live stream where I sometimes talk about teaching stuff, and I do like little lectures and classes and stuff, and sometimes we just listen to music, you know. Sometimes I do a little research, and I try to like use this as an excuse to kind of learn about stuff. So it's not half-assed. It's just I just have the time that I have, which is not a whole lot of time. So kind of, you know, I'm no academic here, but I'm curious and inquisitive, and this is entertaining to all you guys too. So this not quite a full week. This 4 days I'm here in Chicago. In between, I just did a string of 4 gigs in Michigan, which was lovely. I did a house concert with an amazing band called World, WHORLED. They're a wonderful band out of Michigan that plays a lot of world music, a lot of different things. They did a set of Irish music, which was phenomenal, with a wonderful accordion player named Mariko and other musicians. And then I did 3 gigs with a great gypsy jazz band up there called Third Coast Swing. And we played a big folk festival called Wheatland. We played for the swing dance, which is, I don't know. I don't really know how long I played. It was an hour and a half, maybe? I'm not sure. It felt longer than an hour, but the time flew by. But that was really fun. And it was cool to go to like a big, many thousands of people folk festival. It reminded me of the only other folk festival that I've been to called the Philadelphia Folk Festival. Very similar. Both really, really cool. And then this coming weekend, I'm playing 2 nights at the, what's it called? The, what's the name of it? Midwest Gypsy Swing Fest. Felt like Michael Scott there for a second. Midwest Gypsy Swing Fest in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm playing with the band that organizes the festival called the Harmonious Whale. Harmonious Whale with an I. And so I have some time to kill in between Michigan and Madison, and I've always wanted to spend time in Chicago, and I know some wonderful friends like Bill, who I know because he's taken some accordion lessons from me, and this kind of business, you just make friends with your students and stuff sometimes. And I'm staying at the house of another accordion friend and seeing some other accordion students and friends. And tonight, I really have wanted to see Jimmy Keane, because like Bill and I were talking about, I mean, he's one of the, certainly for the United States, he's probably the greatest Irish, in the genre of Irish music, the greatest living accordion player in that genre here, and certainly he's extremely important and a great artist, all over the world. Let's check him out. I found some. Let me go to this other tab. So he lives in Chicago, I guess. Jimmy does, and he plays. And there's an Irish session, like I was telling Bill about. So Nomad Farmer says, for piano accordion, he may be the best in the world, which is super cool. I've heard most of the time, when you hear accordion in Irish music, it's the diatonic button accordion, which I think is a B and a CB system, or BC system, however they say it. So you have like all your chromatic notes there. Let's see. I just tried to search Jimmy and find some newer stuff. This is not the same. Let's watch this one, see if this is And that's the end of one. Cool. Thank you, Nomad Former. I will check out Bohola. We'll check that in a second. Let's see. I wanted to see if there's any. This one's from 2 years ago. There's nothing like super recent. Wee Banjo 3. I'm curious about it. cool. What just pretty inspiring. I don't know. The Irish stuff is so cool. Contemporary Irish stuff. Not that the real trad style stuff isn't super cool too, but it's such a pulse and energy, and feels hopeful and pretty and driving. I'm curious to hear this. Oh, here's from 1 year ago. Okay, let's check this out. Live in Nashville. This is Jimmy Keane and Bohola. It's kind of soft. Sorry about that. Oh, it was quiet because I had the volume down. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's check out one more Jimmy Keane. Actually, here, wait. Let me see who he's playing with. We'll check out that musician. Let's see. Just gotta check my. Danny Collins. So here's Danny Collins. Another. I'm learning. You know, I like a lot of accordion music. Not all accordion music, but I like a lot of it. And I don't know. There's just so much cool music out there. I do not know how you pronounce this word. Goitz? I'm not sure. If anybody could give me a phonetic thing, if you guys know how to say this word. Is it a Celtic word? I don't know. Mini documentary, 4.5 minutes. Danny Collins on piano accordion. Let's check this out. Here's a little 3 years ago.
2,
Cool. Let's check out another Danny Collins. This is an episode of Livestream that's just me watching videos. Let's see. All right, let's check out 2 months ago. This is from Danny Collins. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Let's listen to one more, because we haven't listened to Danny Collins yet. Kate's Jig. There he is playing all these instruments. This is so cool. Oh, whoa. Playing Steve Finbar. Okay. Let's check this out. So pretty. So that's an original tune composed by Danny. This says it's a Wait, let me stop it before we get it autoplays something else. Okay, that was really cool. Let's see, where was that? Clonakilty. A branch of, wow, I cannot pronounce these Celtic words. Cultural organization dedicated to promoting Irish traditional music, dance, and language. Very cool. All right, so ostensibly about Chicago blues and accordion, but I think that's all I want to talk about the blues for. And then we got on kind of a Jimmy King kick. I know there's another video that I want to watch today, which is about the Matrix accordion. So last Saturday in Michigan, I did a small accordion workshop with Michael Schaefer, who's an accordion performer and teacher up in Grand Rapids, and there was about 9 people accordion players attended the workshop, and that was really cool. And after the workshop, some of us went and grabbed lunch together, the people who didn't have to go about their day and do other things. And somebody brought up, one of the accordion players brought up the Beltuna Matrix, which I haven't followed. I thought a lot about when the first video showed up on YouTube in 2020 during the pandemic, and was always kind of fishy because they had the comments turned off on the YouTube video. Why? I don't know. But since then, and I had forgotten about it. I hadn't heard about it at all. I don't know anybody. No, none of my friends are talking about it. So I hadn't thought much about it. But then David brought up Matrix accordion. I was like, oh yeah. I didn't even know it was called a Matrix. I don't think it was called that when they when that video came out. But so the deal is, let's see. We're gonna watch some of these videos because I think it's cool. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's ready yet, but it's certainly neat. So what it is, and we'll learn about it, but it's an acoustic accordion. So it's not a digital accordion. It's not speakers and synthesized sounds and stuff. It's not a key. It's not a synthesizer. It's acoustic accordion. So real reeds, real doors opening, and all that sort of thing. But the thing that's different is the way that the mechanics between the buttons or piano keys that you're pressing and then the doors opening. So instead of the normal inside of an accordion, let me pull up a photo so everybody can get a visual for that. Most of you should know. Left hand of accordion inside. Let's see. So this is what the left hand looks like inside. So instead of all this stuff that's there, all these rods and little forks and little pins sticking out, all this kind of stuff, it doesn't have any of that. Instead, all of the buttons are just switches, essentially. They're switches. And there's none of this, all those like things don't go down. Instead, they go to each door that opens over a set of reeds is controlled by like a servo motor. And it came out, when it came out, the first one in 2020, it was just the left hand was doing this. I think the right hand, if I understood it correctly, the right hand was still a mechanical. See if I can find this. If we could find that original video. No, it's all this. Let me go to Bill Tuna's channel. So now they have like at least one more sort of version of it, one more iteration, if not a couple since then, because it's been, what, 5 years now since they launched it. I still don't know anybody that has one, and I cannot find a price for how much it would be. Liberty Bellows does not have them. I need to text Mike, the owner, and see what he has to say about it. So I don't know if it's vaporware or what. But the deal is that you can essentially, like on the basses side, because now there's no like physical linkage, so you could theoretically you can set the basses to any kind of free bass. You could, B system free bass, C system free bass. You could do the Italian 4+2, 2 Stradella bass, rows of basses, and then 4 rows of chords, or 3, the French 3+3. You could theoretically program it to do a machino. You could even, like, I can think of where, you could spread out the chord voicings. So you wouldn't have to have everything so close. So you could say, well, my C major chord is bum, ba, ba, instead of bum, bum, let's say bum, ba, bum, like a close triad, 1, 3, 5. It could be 1, 5, 10, something like that to really spread it out, which is like a much more honestly sonically pleasing chord voicing on the accordion in a lot of cases. Or you could just like, the sky is the limit if you could start to program that stuff. And I only like scrubbed through the video, but the new version, they have it like hooked up to an iPad or some kind of tablet. And the majority of what I saw was not reassigning the buttons like so that you could do that, but it was more about the registers. So you'll see in here, they show that like there's this, it's like a big concert accordion, like a classical concert accordion with like tons of range, probably 5 sets of reeds in the left hand. And on one of them, we'll watch the whole video. It's a tutorial video, so it's a little dry, but I think it's interesting. They're like, check this out. So they have these, they've programmed these registers where with the right hand, because the piano side now is operating the same way. There's no physical linkage for the piano keyboard or the right hand button keyboard. It's same. It's just these like digital switches, and they have it assigned. In some cases, you could assign it to play the bass reeds. So they have this part where this guy's ripping this crazy like lines, and it's all it's coming out like super low from the bass side of the accordion, which like I'm not sure I need that exactly, but it is really offers, I mean, a whole bunch more opportunities. You know, there are of course downsides to this as the technology exists now, because like the Jack and Natalie thing, and I think a lot of the way accordion players play, who are hip to the touch, you know, when you're kind of feeling playing half button and all that sort of stuff, which is so wonderful and beautiful, is you are feeling the air pressure, the air resistance through those physical linkages, you know. So it's like the resistance that you're feeling, especially like when you're opening, you're creating more suction, and so the harder that you pull on the bellows, the harder it is to press down a piano key or a bass button, because you're creating this negative pressure. This vacuum is sucking closed all of those pads, which the piano keys and the buttons are attached to. So you wouldn't have that because there's no physical linkage. So it would, I'm sure the touch is a lot different, and I bet it feels probably less good. Like the way if you're going from a piano to a keyboard touch, you don't get any of that cool stuff that you get from a piano, like the, you know, just all the vibrations and stuff go into a real piano key and you know, all that sort of stuff. Good piano action. So just all to say, it's not 100%, but last week I was like schlepping around my full-size Victoria accordion and a little mini Machino, because on this house concert I did, I wanted to play a few Machino solo accordion songs because they're so beautiful. And that sucks, man. It's such a pain in the ass to have to bring two accordions, even if one is smaller. And then you got to worry about amplifying them and all that kind of stuff, and then killing time from the audience while you unclip, take it off, put the next one on, clip it on, make sure you're plugged in or whatever. Which is not really a problem if you play a conventional kind of free bass, like C or B system. That's not hard to find an instrument. But for me, playing this super obscure, weird Machino free bass, there are no converter instruments that have ever been made. So this would be, that's something that I was like talking to Frank Bosso Jr. at Titano about. Maybe he said it's possible if I give him a diagram of the Machino basses, he might be able to talk about having a custom instrument made that could be a converter, which would be really cool. I would love that, but I'm sure it would be really expensive, as I'm sure the Matrix accordions are really expensive too. In the chat, JK Mount Airy says, it's cool to disconnect the key from the reed, but still be acoustic. Now we just need to learn a new accordion for each setup. Right, I know it. And the same with the buttons, like the piano keyboard, you know, you can't, like I know a wonderful piano accordion player down in New Orleans who quarter tuned his accordion. He took a piano accordion and he made it push-pull. So he has quarter tones to play like classical Arabic music on it. He's a Palestinian American from a family of amazing Palestinian musicians, and he plays, you know, all this cool, you know, contemporary folk music, traditional folk music on the quarter tone tuned accordion. But in general, the piano keyboard is, you're limited to kind of, there's only so many new patterns you could like remap to a piano keyboard. But with the button keyboard, you can really remap that thing. So I'm thinking about it. You know, I'm thinking of, it's like, I don't even know if you can buy one right now, because even when you Google it, you can find like one dude who seems to own one at his house. Everything else is from Beltuna. So I don't really know. But anyways, let's check this out. Let's see. There's one in English. Let's watch this tutorial. 18 minutes, and I'll
Amici fisiomusticisti, friends of the accordion, welcome to this tutorial where we're going to understand the matrix better. In fact, in a few minutes, you'll understand how it's made, how it works, and how to customize it, thanks to the help of two professional accordionists, Cristiano Lui and Andrea Coruzzi.
The lightest freebass acoustic accordion with endless possibilities. Okay. The thing I'm most excited about hearing here is to see if you can map, when you have Stradella, the chord buttons, if you could choose how each chord button is spelled. You know what I mean? That would be so cool. Like, could I add a ninth to my major chord button, or could I change the spelling of it? It's, I don't know. Anyways, Christian Gregory in the chat is asking if there are buttons on the right hand non-piano accordion, are the notes individual notes or chords or both? The right hand it's basically like you'll see, you could set it up the right hand to be a C system, you could set the right hand to be a B system. I assume you could set it up to be what I call the Machino system, which is four, like nobody's playing it, but it's 4 chromatic notes, and then each column moves in a major third instead of a minor third. And I think there's like a Belgian system too, or is that just in the left hand? Anyways, okay.
The matrix is an evolution of the grand converter. In our left hand, we have a series of solenoid valves instead of the traditional mechanics, while on the right, we've motorized the registers and equipped the keyboard with sensors so that you can communicate with your left hand. The matrix accordion is a strictly acoustic sound and works in 3 different modes, selectable with an appropriate switch. In the classic mode, we rotate the selector to the C position. In this mode, the accordion works just like a traditional accordion. But unlike the grand converter, there's a proportional opening of the left-hand valve. If we press the button a little, we have a minimum sound volume. If we press all the way down, we have the maximum volume sound.
So this is cool, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not good enough. Because the Jacques and Natalie thing is to, if this is a blown up version of the amount that the key could depress, I think all the wonderful accordion players that can play like this, they want the whole range of motion here, a continuum. Whereas the way that it's working now, which is better, it's moving in the right direction, but it really needs to get to where it's like a whole range, is the way it's working now is basically you have just 2 positions. So the door will open a little bit, or the door will open all the way. So it's binary. It's one of 2 ways, I guess trinary. Not open at all, open a little bit, or open a lot, which is better, but it's not enough. But anyway, here, we can listen to this right now.
On the left hand, we have 7 registers for the standard basses and 7 for the free basses. The conversion is done by pressing 2 keys simultaneously. There's also an 8th register key, which pressed together with the others allows us to access 3 other further banks of registers, always composed of 7 standard bass registers and 7 free bass registers for a total of 56.
So what he's playing right now is the quint system, which is what's on all those Palmer Hughes, the converters, the Titano converters. Almost all of them from the Golden Age have the quint system, and that's what he's showing right now. So he's showing both the chromatic. I don't know if it's C or B, and also the quint system. Let's see. J.K. Mountairy says it could simplify the details like varying release pressure if pulling, pushing. Yeah, but it wouldn't be. Yeah, but it wouldn't be a thing unless they got fancy with the buttons and servos like in a Roland. Yeah, I mean, like I have no idea how any of this stuff works. This is really actually what's up, J.K. Mountairy's. I'm sure you've messed around with robotics and stuff and engineering. I don't know. It seems like it would be, if I can have a dimmer switch on in my room, you know, to like dim the light, like how could we not, you know, how could you not just have like whatever what kind of switch that is, and then just have the servo motors, you know, go. I don't know. Is it hard to calibrate there? I don't know.
All these banks are useful because with the matrix we can program an important series of new registers. And it's also possible to store more than one free bass system inside it. On the right hand, the registers and the chin registers function normally, with the difference that using the app contained in the tablet supplied, we can customize them with a few simple commands. Programming it, I select the standard mode. I load the sounds previously saved. Now I program the chin registers as it suits me. And save. In free mode, we rotate the selector to the F position. In this mode, the right-hand sensors are activated. We can thus combine the sounds of 4 reeds of the right hand with the 7 of the left hand, thus giving...
So this makes me think that the programmability of it is going to be just about the registers, which is kind of a drag, because I was really hoping that you would have control over what actual like note combinations each door was opening and be able to create your own, but
rise to over 2,000 new sounds for accordions, programmable on 4 banks of 15 registers each and recallable from the 4 chin registers. Programming is always done via the app with a few simple commands. The free mode is very interesting because I can combine, creating links, as happens in the organ between the 2 manuals. Let's explore the app for a moment. On the left side of the app, there are the reeds of the right manual. Therefore, 8 out of the box, 8 in the box, 16 in the box, 4 out of the box. Then...
So they're using a terminology that I don't know. I'm not, is it more Italian terminology? I'm not sure who uses it or not, but instead of, let's see. Instead of saying low, middle, high, and I guess bass, they're saying like 8, 16, 32 for the low, middle, and high. And I guess 4 is low.
That is row B.
Because, oh, this is for the left hand. Yeah, so they have 4, 8, 16, and 32.
Which coincides with the left manual registers and the left manual reeds. 32 feet, 16, 18, 4. The 5th at various octaves, and the 3rd. The last box is the split one, where I can assign the line of splits. Now let's try to build sound combinations together. For example, by accessing the programming of the app. I can enter 16 of the right manual together with 16 of the left manual, creating a double 16, or add the 3, 8, 2 in the right manual and 1 in the left manual. Construct all the combinations, which are then stored in the 15 registers present in the right manual. I save all the changes made and try the sounds. In this mode, a red cursor indicates the string I'm using. For example, this one coincides with register number 1. If I change register, the string also changes. Now let's listen to double 16.
Very pretty sound.
Now over to register number 2, the 888.
So it's like it's playing the two middles essentially from the right hand, plus in unison a middle that's in the left hand.
Register number 3 is a very strange register because I have 4-foot in my right hand and a 32 in the left hand.
And that's where, it's playing the piccolo reed and then I guess the lowest set of reeds in the left hand at the same time, but he's playing that out of the right hand.
In 4, I only have the 32 of the left.
Wow. Wow.
In 5, 16, 32. In 6, the little horn register. And so on.
I bet in person it sounds so cool, because it's like real reeds and you're getting these like new combinations, especially melodically. Oh, that's everybody. Just about, yeah. So that's all the reeds in the accordion being controlled by the right hand.
Furthermore, in this mode, we can also split the keyboard into the desired key. In free mode, on bank 4, I'm going to create a sound I need by combining the registers of the two manuals. At this point, I choose the desired keyboard split point. And then save. In sequencer mode, we rotate the selector to the S position. In this mode, one can program all the register changes of the song we have to perform, in chronological order and by pressing a single chin register. Continue the sequence by performing the song without ever taking your hands off the keyboards. In sequencer mode, just like organs, I can create my own combinations of registers and assign them to bank memory. In the app, the numbers on the left coincide with the register changes in chronological order, and each bank has 100 members.
This sounds so like I wish it could do the things that I wanted it to do. These are cool, but I feel like this is not like as cool as if you could, more program the buttons to just open different doors, essentially, which if I've thought of it, I'm sure that they've thought of it, because who knows how long they've been working on this before they even released it. And this is an update, but still, I'm getting like technology anxiety. I know, like, I don't know if you guys, but every single person I've ever seen perform on a Roland is always futzing with, wait, hang on, they're always like, can't find their patches or whatever, and they're looking at that stupid screen, and then it's always like, half the time there's always an apology, like, this was working, like, I don't know. I feel like this is giving me like Roland technology anxiety vibes. Feels very fiddly. But I can see, for the people for whom, like, if you're doing classical music where registration is like such a huge thing, one of the things I pick up like on checking out like great bayan players with chin switches and stuff is they're constantly moving through those registers. It's like a lot like a jazz organ player, like a Hammond B3 player, is going to be turning on and off the Leslie speaker. They're going to be changing their on a B3 you can preset your different drawbar settings, but they're doing all and gospel, like a great like gospel organ player is going to be doing the same thing. Like that's the gig, that's what they do. You don't just leave it in that one thing. So I can see that like that way of playing accordion, of moving through registers a lot, which is not my thing right now. It might be in the future, who knows, but I can see how this is really appealing. It gives them like so much more, ability, and like it's, now you have so much more control to like split up things and like have, when you have different registers assigned, like what we were just saying with the button accordion player before, the two parts, the lower part, there was polyphony going on in the right hand, and the polyphony was made more clear, more musical, you might say, by the fact that like one of the voices was in, it sounded like two reeds to me, it might have been three, and then the other voice sounded like it was on one reed, but regardless, one of them had like a lower reed set and the other one didn't, and that made them sound more distinct, which I could see is a real interesting use case.
The configuration is similar to that of free, but in the sequencer, I can actually create the sequence of register changes. For example, I'm going to compile string number 1, which is memory bank number 1. I build the master in the right hand. That is 8, 8, 16, 4, and aside the register of the left hand. Here I have the 7 registers with standard bass, and the other 7 with free bass. I choose register number 4 and confirm. I'm going to create a connection and then add to the sounds of the right hand, 16th and 8th of the left hand, and then save.
And then save.
The red cursor indicates the position in the chain sequence. Exchanges can be made both with the chin register and with the pedal.
Okay, so you can go. This makes sense to me based on watching the heavy bayan players who are, that's who's winning all these like major international competitions. It's people with, these big concert accordions And that's who, I don't know, it's not the only market, but it certainly seems like it's this market. I mean, this instrument is not necessarily for Irish accordion players. Not saying they wouldn't be interested in it. Okay, we get the idea. All right, so now they're going to talk about the different left-hand.
When we open the app page related to the choice of register of the bass that we want to program for the sequencer, one can see that if we repeatedly press the box on the right, different possibilities for adjusting the opening of the valves and consequently the sound volume are set. With this configuration, the valves work normally. If I press the button a little, I open the valve to the minimum. If I press all the way down, I have the full opening. This applies to both the bass valve and the chord valve. In this case, however, whenever the button is pressed, the bass always sounds loud and the chord always slow. On the contrary, in this last standard bass configuration, the bass always sounds soft and the chord always strong, no matter how much the button is pressed. We also have two other options for free bass. In the first, the free notes sound like a normal accordion. If I press the button a little, I have the minimum sound volume. If I press it all the way down, I have the maximum volume. In the second option, the free notes always play at minimum volume, even if I press the button all the way down. These options prove to be very interesting if we want to make quick passages without the bass being invasive on the chord and vice versa, or to avoid covering the sound emitted from the voice of the right hand. The tablet will only be needed for programming. In fact, an elegant viewer that will provide you with all the necessary information is supplied.
I hate the music editing. Like, why do they need that stupid, like, it's like, I can't concentrate on what they're saying.
Another innovative accessory supplied with the Matrix
It feels like an infomercial or something from the 90s.
is the pedal board, equipped with two elements. With one, we can advance the sequence of programmed songs as an alternative to the chin register. The second can be used to hold a staff.
So is this disdain?
Another interesting function is that we can connect the accordion using this cable to the PC, thus being able to use it, for example, for writing music, or for studying, using headphones, or simply to play around with electronic sounds.
That is really cool that it's also a MIDI accordion. I think that's really neat.
Program data is saved directly in the accordion's memory. Obviously, you can make additional backups on your tablet. Matrix models are available in the basic version, where we only have the solenoid valve on our left hand with proportional valve opening, or in the full version, that is, the one you have seen in this video. In this last case, you will have the tablet supplied with the instrument, the pedal board, and the viewer. There are many versions available, piano and button, with the sound of the right hand of the prestige, leader, or spirit. In the fly version, with carbon fiber and with lots of personalized aesthetic solutions.
Okay. Well, it makes me think like, okay, I wonder also how they don't talk about the keyboard side at all. So I wonder if the keyboard, maybe the right hand is still mechanical. You know, maybe there still are rods that are going up to the valves, you know, behind the grill on the right hand. But maybe there's just like sort of an electronic contact switch, you know, that gets made to tell the left hand to play. I don't know. So many more questions. And if you Google this, you don't find, or if you search on YouTube for people, you don't really find anything. You don't find any people talking about how they have it, you know, owners and that sort of stuff. Okay, so that was the Matrix, the split. So this is just more tutorial stuff. The Grand Converter, yeah, from 5 years ago. Okay. And then we go to Beltuna, Matrix. Let's go to the website. Because it's not listed on Liberty Bellows, and that's Liberty Bellows is like a distributor for Beltuna. Here's the website. The classic versus the free. This is what we just watched. They don't tell you really where you can purchase it. It is. I mean, they're all wonderful ideas. The idea of being able to sustain stuff is a really cool idea. It's wild to think about it. I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's like that. What's it called? Singularity, right? Where like the human consciousness merges with the technology. Like it's like the accordion's merging with technology. So we can control the accordion acoustic accordion from outside the accordion. I think it's, as I understand it, it's challenging to play like romantic era music, Beethoven and more recent, because there's no sustain pedal on the accordion. So there's a lot of things that are just so challenging to sustain and move that you can more easily do on the keyboard on a piano with the sustain pedal. So I wonder, how this is going to move things forward and what wonderful musicians, creative musicians are going to do with it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching that with me. Discover or models collection. Yeah. I'm going to go back to YouTube and search for Beltuna Matrix again. And this is the only guy who seems to have one outside of the factory.
Spiele Einstieg. Ух ты, звучит сразу и натурально. Я его могу сыграть так. Могу сыграть так. Могу.
I can't find any Matrix videos that aren't this guy, the guy that we just saw, like, or the ones produced by Beltuna. Same guy. So it's weird. Is it vaporware? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's getting closer to being really cool, but I don't know. You got to keep the batteries charged. I mean, what do you do? What do you do if it breaks? Who's gonna fix that thing in the middle of a gig, on the way to a gig? At least an accordion, you can open it up. I don't know. It's really interesting, really fun. Okay. Well, let's see. We got about 20 more minutes. I might end a little bit early today. I'm still on this tour. I got students to see and shows to catch and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really happy to be back on the live stream with all you guys. I had like, the late summer was all scheduled out. I was supposed to start Polka Month last week, but I just couldn't do live stream because of the travel and stuff. So I'll set it all up again. I'm excited to offer, like I said, group classes again in the fall. So by October, if you're on the mailing list for risingreed.com, you'll get info from me about the group classes that I'm going to do. Let's see. What's on my subscriptions here? Let's see if there's anything cool that we have missed. Let's see. We got Richardus Cochlearius. Let's see what this is. Probably some Romanian stuff. His shirt. Go, you can do it. Doesn't want to play. Bum, bum, bum. I love that. Okay. Let's check out this a little. This is 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes. We will not listen to all this. I'm curious what this is though. We love an outside video. Musicians playing outside, and he's like on like that. This is Looks like a music video because I see no microphones, and also that accordion doesn't have a piccolo reed. So I don't know if he's just miming or if this is a music video of what he has played before. Who knows? Cool. I want to hear a little bit of the original. So I think this is the original recording. So it says he's from Argentina, if my reading of this Spanish is correct. But he composed a lot of Colombian style music since he visited Colombia. So it's like in the style of Colombian. It's very cool. A waltz. Okay, let's watch a couple more videos. Let's see. This is like the Andean, Peruvian Andean style stuff that we've checked out. Guayno music. Super cool. Just kind of checking out. All right, let's check this out. Another similar band. Just kind of go into what catches my fancy. Pedicera. So this is a fajo. Fajo pedicera, I think, is like the more traditional, like Luis Gonzaga style fajo bands versus like a newer band that would have like a drummer and electric bass and all that kind of stuff. This is usually just triangle, there's a boomba, bass drum, accordion, and vocals.
Cena Livre visita mais espaço cultural. Estou a Roda 7. Vamos pro palco agora curtir. Cara de alegria, porque ninguém tem nada a ver com a minha dor. Pela frente, se ninguém pode dar jeito, todo mundo tem a marca de amor. Tem amor que dá prazer e alegria, tem outro amor que faz a gente delirar. Há quem diga que tem amor diferente, amarra a gente pelo jeito de olhar. Oi, quanto mais quente, mais procura duvidoso, e o mais gostoso é pra gente pra chorar. Mas todo mundo é minha cara de alegria, porque ninguém tem nada a ver com a minha dor. O meu lamento, ninguém não pode dar jeito, todo mundo tem a marca de amor. Todo mundo é minha cara de alegria, porque ninguém tem nada a ver com a minha dor. Meu lamento, se ninguém pode dar jeito, todo mundo tem a marca de amor. Aqui comigo o Mardônio acabou de descer do palco na roda de pé de serra.
Alright, that's fun, that's fun. Let's check that. Cultura Nordestina Sanfoneros. So, okay, so accordion players. Sanfona is accordion in Portuguese. They use that in Brazil. So this looks cool. Oh, diatonic. Whoa. The audio sucks. That was a Dominguinhos tune. So I've heard about this music, fife, they call it the fife and drum music. Jim Hamilton from Philadelphia was telling me about this and saying, you know, like how like many cultures around the world have different kinds of fife and drum music, and you know, it's like a remnant of military music and stuff from that period of time. But that's cool. I've never actually checked it out before. So two-row diatonics. I had no idea that like people that in the Recife, like northern Brazilian region where there's forró, that people played on the diatonic accordion. So cool. I gotta ask Gabe about that. Gabe and Jamie. And that's the end of that. Wow, that was really cool. Very cool. So from 2010, I think it says. What else is on this channel? Oh, wow, let's check her out. I want to see her playing the pandeiro. Wow. Sifi. Okay, let's see this.
Leci Brandão, que coisa bonita. Leci, é um prazer. A rapaziada aqui do Cena Livre tá recebendo você nessa roda de...
Parabéns a você, Fabiano, e parabéns ao Colasso também. Essa carreira está indo, com a graça de Deus, com muita positividade. A gente tem andado o Brasil inteiro, temos recebido o carinho e o respeito das pessoas. Tem me emocionado bastante nos últimos tempos, porque a gente descobre que vale a pena a gente lutar, vale a pena a gente batalhar pela nossa cultura, vale a pena defender o folclore do Brasil. Então, eu só quero dizer para você que eu estou num momento de muita felicidade. Está aqui o nosso diretor musical, que é o Emerson de Paula, ele que tem arranjos também no meu CD, e o Paulinho Sampagode, que é o coreador de percussão da nossa banda, que é o Sampagode, e que também tem música no CD aí. Então tá todo mundo feliz, graças a Deus.
Você tocou no fundo de quintal. Então acho que era a oportunidade da gente agora dar uma palhinha aqui, aproveitar aqui a rapaziada.
Para relembrar, né?
Para relembrar, eu assim acredito que foi o primeiro sucesso a nível nacional, que você emplacou outro sucesso. Isso é fundo de quintal, para a rapaziada dar uma palhinha. Leci Brandão ao vivo aqui no Cena Livre.
O que é isso, meu amor? Venha me dizer. Isso é fundo de quintal, é pagode pra valer. O que é isso, meu amor? Venha me dizer. Isso é fundo de quintal, é pagode pra valer. E lá vem o sereno trazendo um recado do Birani. Vem contando pra gente, vira presidente, vai chegar aqui. Uma cara de anjo tocando seu banjo, clarinho de cruz. E Dona Ivone, olha essa joia tão rara. isso, meu amor, venha me dizer. Isso é fundo de quintal, é pagode pra valer. No Cacique de Ramos vai chegar o Kleber com seu violão. Tia Doca bonita cantando gostoso e batendo na mão. Olha a rapaziada fazendo rateio e comprando a bebida.
Aborto Cavaco também faz parte dessa roda de samba aqui com a gente na mesa. Aborto Cavaco.
Cool. Another musician who plays cavaco, cavaquinho. Cool. Okay, wow, that's really fun. Okay. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, I just thought this was cool. This is from June of this year. So Diego on the left, playing the accordion, I met him. He is a former student of cinema, Jacques and Natalie's student. And we see him show up a lot here on these dance videos for this channel. I thought we could just listen to a little bit of these two guys. Okay. All right. And I'm not too far from Milwaukee. I'll be driving right by it when I head to Madison. And this is Stas Vangelevsky on the Bayan accordion, and what's the name of the marimba player here? Noriko Kijiya is my best pronunciation for her last name. This is Gitanerias. Let's check this out. Bravo. I was just checking this out because I know that this composition, I was just saying like where it's from. This composition was a commonly played like concert composition from like the 50s and 60s, or concert piece for accordion players in that day. Must have been popular music. Anyways, that brings us to the end of our stream. Thank you guys so much. If you're new to the stream or newish, my name is Dallas, and this is a stream that I do to talk about my love of all music, and specifically accordion. Sometimes I just kind of do full-on like little master classes or lectures. I play a little bit, not on today. Other times, when I don't have as much time to prepare or for various reasons, we just watch cool videos together, and that's what today was all about. I was so happy to have Bill Giardini, who's a Chicago native, born and raised. He'll probably die here too. And a guy who's lived his life in music, playing accordion and working for record industry and stuff like that. Thanks, Bill, for stopping by. Very cool sharing just the enthusiasm for blues, and I don't know, music is big, life is big, the beautiful stuff is everywhere. I'm really excited to be here in Chicago for a couple more days. like I said, we're gonna see some Irish music and those clubs like Phyllis's and stuff. Club, I want to check those out. There's lots of stuff. I was thinking of like other cool Chicago stuff I know, like the AACM, which is like a free jazz like thing from the 70s. Super cool. Anyways, thank you guys all so much. I'm not totally sure about Tuesday, so I'm gonna be driving back to Pennsylvania from the Midwest, really from Madison, on maybe Sunday night, but definitely all day Monday. I think it's gonna be because I'm gonna wind up actually by Minneapolis to see somebody I know who's up there, and that's like an 18-hour drive, not counting breaks and all that sort of stuff. So I got to break that up into 2 days. So this is all to say, I'm not totally sure if I'll be able to make it home in time to do the live stream next Tuesday, or if I'll have to move it to another day of the week because I'll still be driving home on next Tuesday. But regardless, the live stream will happen next Tuesday. I have no idea what it's going to be about yet, but we're back, and just stick with me. If you want to know more, follow. If you want to get the most accurate updates, go to risingreed.com, which you can see right there, and join the email list. And then whenever I live stream, I usually send an email out that morning telling you what it's going to be about and all that sort of stuff. So I wish everybody, beauty and joy and health and lots of accordion. Share it with your friends. Go listen to music, play for people, have them listen to your music, and have a wonderful week. See you next week.